Well. The consensus out there is that the Lakers are strolling into Charlotte and walking away with an easy win. But let me tell you something, this Hornets squad, they've got fight in them. You think a couple of aging superstars and a decent supporting cast are enough to waltz into Buzz City and dominate? Think again, Charlotte's coming off a dominant performance against New Orleans, and they did it with style, 21 made threes, 50% shooting. And they controlled the boards. That's not just luck, my friends, that's execution. LaMelo Ball, sure, he's got his inefficiencies, but when he's locked in, he's a magician on the court. And don't sleep on Miles Bridges and Mark Williams. These guys can hold their own in the paint. And they'll give AD something to think about all night long. And let's talk about that Lakers defense. 15th in the league, that's middle of the pack at best. They're giving up 112.7 points a night, and against a team that's starting to find their rhythm from deep. That's a recipe for trouble. Plus, let's not forget the Lakers' road woes. Consistency hasn't exactly been their strong suit outside of LA. The Hornets, on the other hand, might be down a few key pieces, but they've been grinding. They're 4th in the league in rebounding, which means second chance opportunities galore. And when a team hustles like that, it's tough to put them away. Especially at home. Look, everyone's on the Lakers tonight, but I'm zigging when they zag. The Hornets, with that underdog mentality, are going to keep this one tighter than anyone expects. They've covered the spread in 3 of their last 4. And I see them doing it again. Maybe they don't win outright, but taking Charlotte and the points. Now that's the move. And today's AI pick is Charlotte Hornets +6. On to Game 2.
The Cleveland Cavaliers. 36 wins, 7 losses, and sitting pretty at the top of the Eastern Conference. Everyone's got them pegged as the easy winner tonight, expecting another routine beatdown. But you know what? Not so fast. Because the Detroit Pistons are rolling into town, and they're bringing something the Cavs might not be ready for, momentum. Detroit's coming off a solid win against Atlanta, where they shot 50% from the floor and nearly 95% from the line. Cade Cunningham? The guy was electric, dropping 29 points and dishing out 11 assists like it was nothing. He's got the confidence. He's got the rhythm, and tonight, he's got the opportunity to make some noise. And let's not forget, Detroit's been quietly effective on the boards, pulling down over 45 rebounds a night. That's not just numbers, that's effort. That's second chance opportunities, and that's the kind of hustle that keeps games close. Cleveland, for all their firepower, isn't invincible. They showed that in their 1-point loss to Houston, where turnovers and missed opportunities piled up at the worst possible time. The Cavs might be the better team on paper, but 9.5 points? That's a mountain to climb, and Detroit's not backing down. They force turnovers, they fight for every possession, and they've got the kind of underdog mentality that makes spreads like this way too tempting to pass up. And today's AI pick is Detroit Pistons +9.5. The books are sleeping on this one. Detroit's got the weapons to keep this one interesting. And when the final buzzer sounds, don't be surprised if they're right there in the mix. On to Game 3.
The New York Knicks are getting all the love right now, sitting on a 3-game winning streak and lighting up the scoreboard. They're playing at home, they've got momentum, and they're coming off a 143-point explosion against Sacramento. Sounds impressive, right? But let's not forget who they're up against: Memphis, a team that's quietly stacking wins and playing some of their best basketball of the season. The Grizzlies have won 6 straight, and they're not just winning, they're dominating. They dismantled Utah, putting up 125 points while shooting over 50% from the floor. Jaren Jackson Jr. is leading the charge with a cool 28 points last game, while Zach Edey and Desmond Bane are stepping up in a big way. This isn't a team relying on one star, it's a balanced attack that can hurt you from multiple angles. Now everyone wants to talk about how tough it is to win at Madison Square Garden, but here's the thing: Memphis doesn't care. They've covered in 4 of their last 5 road games, and their offense has been humming at an elite level. Sure, their road defense isn't perfect, but when you're dropping over 123 points a night, you don't need perfection, just enough stops to get the job done. And let's not overlook the Knicks' weaknesses. Yeah, they've been scoring in bunches, but defensively, they've been a little suspect, giving up 120 points in their last outing. If Memphis can push the pace and keep the pressure on, New York's defense is going to struggle to keep up. With the Grizzlies getting 3.5, there's too much value to ignore. They're hot, they've got the depth, and they've got the confidence to walk into MSG and take care of business. And today's AI pick is Memphis Grizzlies 3.5.
The New Orleans Pelicans head north of the border to take on the Toronto Raptors in a battle of two struggling squads looking for a spark. On paper, it's a matchup of teams that have been through their fair share of rough patches, New Orleans sitting near the bottom of the Western Conference, and Toronto trying to claw their way up the Eastern standings. But don't let the records fool you, because one of these teams has momentum. And the other? Not so much. Toronto has quietly found its rhythm, winning 3 straight and 5 of their last 6. They're shooting the ball well at 47.1% from the field, moving it efficiently with over 26 assists per game, and locking down defensively when it counts. RJ Barrett is leading the charge, putting up over 22 points per game, while Scotty Barnes continues to be a versatile force, handling the boards and dishing out assists. This team is clicking. And they're not looking to slow down now. On the flip side, New Orleans? They're still trying to figure it out. They've dropped 2 straight, including an embarrassing 123-92 loss to Charlotte, and their defense has been a major liability. Giving up nearly 118 points per game while allowing opponents to shoot over 48%? That's not gonna cut it. Especially against a Raptors team that's heating up from the floor. And with Brandon Ingram sidelined, the offensive load falls squarely on Zion Williamson's shoulders. Sure, Zion's a beast, but without enough support, it's a tough hill to climb. Toronto's rebounding edge could also be the difference maker here. Averaging over 44 boards per game, they've got the size and effort to control possessions and limit New Orleans' second chance opportunities. Add in the fact that they've been playing smart basketball, taking care of the ball and making the most of their trips to the free throw line, and it's clear they've got the upper hand. So, while the Pelicans have had some success against the Raptors in the past, this time around? Different story. The Raptors are in form, at home, and ready to keep the momentum rolling. And today's AI pick is Toronto Raptors moneyline. Look, the Pelicans might have the talent, but Toronto's got the consistency, the depth, and the better overall game plan. New Orleans will make some noise, but the Raptors will shut the door when it matters most.
The Clippers have been making waves, wrapping up their homestand with a solid 3-2 run and covering the spread in 4 of those games. James Harden's coming off a monster performance, and the team's defensive numbers. Rock solid, ranking second in the league in points allowed per 100 possessions. But let's pump the brakes for a second, because standing in their way tonight is a Phoenix squad that's quietly been stacking wins and flying under the radar. 7 wins in their last 9 games, and while people want to talk about the competition, wins are wins. The Suns aren't just beating teams, they're handling business. They already took down the Clippers twice this season, both times in LA, and now they've got them in their own house. That's not just confidence, that's control. Kevin Durant is still as lethal as ever, dropping 29 last game, and Nick Richards. The guy's been an absolute beast on the glass, averaging a double-double since landing in Phoenix. They're hitting threes at a 37.4% clip, 7th best in the league, and if they get rolling from deep, the Clippers defense is going to have its hands full. Sure, LA's got talent, but they've also got issues, turnovers being the biggest. They cleaned it up against Milwaukee, but can they stay that disciplined against the Suns squad that's built to capitalize on mistakes? History says no. And today's AI pick is Phoenix Suns 1.5. Look, the Clippers are solid, but Phoenix owns this matchup. They've got the shooters, the momentum, and home court advantage to take care of business. Let's run it back with today's AI pick. Charlotte Hornets 6. They're scrappy and won't back down. Detroit Pistons 9.5. They'll keep it tight against the Cavs. Toronto Raptors moneyline, momentum's on their side. Memphis Grizzlies 3.5. They've got the firepower to hang. Phoenix Suns 1.5. It's their game to lose. And remember, if you're loving these picks, hit that subscribe button and smash that like, because winners love company.